So basically, I'm speaking to all of the true believers. If we want to affect this society, if we want to change the direction of this society, we have to first reform ourselves. So don't point at Bush, and don't point at Obama, and don't point at Trump, and don't point at Howard, and don't point at Coward, and don't point at Blair, and don't point at Stead. Because when you point, there are three fingers pointing back at you. Blame yourself, because when you sincerely blame yourself, then that's when you will change yourself. The story of Jonah. The story of Jonah. When those people threw him out of the boat, when those people threw him out of the boat, they wanted him to die, didn't they? That's why they threw him out. They threw him out of the boat. They threw Jonah out of the boat because they wanted him to die. They wanted him to drown. They wanted him to drown, or either they wanted the big fish to swallow him. They did that. They conspired against Jonah, and they threw him in the water with the intentions of him drowning, or either the big fish swallowing him and destroying him. And so they threw Jonah out of the boat. But when they threw Jonah out of the boat, he didn't say, "Hey, you guys are bad guys. You guys that threw me out of the boat, you're criminals. You're bad people." And while he's drowning, he's blaming them. No. When they threw him out of the boat, and immediately when they threw Jonah out of the boat, God sent the whale. Immediately God sent the whale, and it swallowed him. And it swallowed Jonah. You think about this, and you ask one of these people that are involved in marine biology. Ask the marine biology about the whale and about the stomach of the whale. And the marine biologists will tell you that if a person is swallowed by the whale, that first of all, they will suffocate, because the whale itself is a mammal, and the mammal has to come up for air. And so if a person is swallowed by a whale, then the first thing is that they will suffocate. And the second thing is the whale is a mammal. And so like every mammal, the way that it digests its food is by acid, a very intense amount of acid. And this acid that's inside the stomach of the whale is 12 times more powerful than the acid that's inside the stomach of a human being. So the person that is swallowed, or the thing that is swallowed by the whale, is immediately, well, first it will suffocate, and then it will become dissolved by the powerful acid that's in the stomach of the whale. So God caused Jonah to be thrown out of the boat. And the water did not drown Jonah, because the whale came and swallowed him. Immediately, God caused the whale to come and swallow Jonah. When Jonah found himself in the belly of the whale, did he blame the whale? Did he blame the people? Did he curse God? No, he didn't. He said, "Oh God, there is no God except for you, and for surely I have oppressed myself, and for surely I have wronged myself, God. And verily I am one of the people who is oppressive to himself." And let me just say this. When Jonah made this supplication, when Jonah offered this prayer request, it was the right formula. It was the right remedy. Because that's what God wanted his servant to say. Because that's what God wanted to hear from the mouth of Jonah while Jonah was inside the belly of the whale. So God ordered that whale. God ordered that whale to swim to the shore. God caused that whale to swim directly to the shore. And before the acid that was in the whale of the stomach can harm Jonah, God caused the whale to swim immediately to the shore. And that whale, he spit up on to the shore. He spit Jonah up on to the shore. You know, like you and I, we vomit. God caused the whale to vomit Jonah up on to the shore. And the coating from the whale's stomach covered Jonah until he healed. And the coating from the whale's stomach covered Jonah until it covered him like a vegetable. Until after that, this covering that was on Jonah while he was on the shore, it healed him. And it healed Jonah in this protective coating that was over Jonah until the sun came up and it became like powder. And it was almost like a person that was breaking out of the mold, or a person that was breaking out of some type of a mold, and he get up and he walk and he was healed and he was safe and God delivered him. And look, wow, look at how God saved, look how God saves his servant. And so the point that I want to make is, you and I, we have been thrown into this well. The well is the world, and the acid is burning us every day, and burning our children every day. And we're blaming Howard and Coward and Blair and Stead and Trump and Obama and Bush and everybody else. We're blaming everybody except for ourselves. I suggest to you, don't blame anyone, blame yourself. And when you start to do that, you'll start to notice and see that God has tested people before you. He will test people after you, and he has tested the prophets, and he has tested all of the people of the Bible, and he has tested all of the people of the Quran, and anybody else that you could think of. But when you start to take accountability for yourself and for your own behaviors and for your own actions, that's when your life will start to improve, and that's when things will start to turn around for you. Because if you walk with God and talk with God and be accountable, whether you're a man or a woman, then he will give you confidence, and he will give you words, and he will build you up, and he will give you wisdom and understanding and knowledge, and show you how to speak, how to act, how to deal, and how to rely, and he will teach you how to rely upon him, how to rely upon God. And God will show you how you can rely upon him, and not to have fear, and not to fear anyone, not to fear no man, and how to only fear God. And he will teach you how to look at the creation as only a creation. And if you trust in God, and if you walk with God, then God will reform you in this way. He will cultivate you in this way. But you have to trust, and you have to take accountability for your actions, because God will not change a human being until the human being makes an effort to change that which is within themselves. Because God only helps those that help themselves. So if you reach out your hand, then God will hug you. If you take a step towards God, then God will run towards you. If you mention God's name among a group of people, then God will mention your name among a group of angels, and the latter of the two is the greater. If you trust in God, and if you walk with God, then he will send you faith to wake you up, to let you know who is your Lord, and to let you know, don't worry about your condition, and don't worry about what they say and what they do, because God will remind you, did not find you in such and such condition and lift you up and wake you up. And God will remind you, did not clothe you, I fed you, I took you from one position, one predicament, one condition, and I raised you out of that condition and elevated your status and gave you a promotion, and did not do this for you. And so the reminder benefits the believer. Please remember all of the blessings and all of the things that God has done for you, because in doing so, it will strengthen your faith and it will strengthen your perseverance so that you can forge forward without fear of the creations. And the only fear that you should have is fear of God.